mojo that they had to start the year. Many people have had them as the odds-on favorites to win the Coastal and presumably to take on Clemson in Charlotte for the ACC championship. Joe Reed, one of the best kickoff men not only in the country playing now, but one of the best kickoff return men in Virginia history, about to go over 3,000 yards in returns. Toe meets leather, and we're underway here in Charlottesville. Reed from his goal line. Out to the 15, has a crease, has room down the sideline, 40, and finally knocked out of bounds near midfield. Great return for Joe Reed. Not the first time we've seen that.
Yeah, it's not the first time. It's not going to be the last time either. Joe Reed, dynamic as a receiver, but this is where he thrives. He excels. He's able to find gaps in the blocking scheme, in the coverage, and just fire through. Great start. This is exactly what Virginia wants to start this game off with really good field position.
Virginia will start from their own 44-yard line. And an opportunity to see Bryce Perkins, who last year just exploded onto the scene. The transfer from Arizona State had an injury issue early on in his college career, but he is leading this Virginia team, hopefully for them, to the promised land. He'll keep it along the left side. Tried to stiff arm a tackler, still is able to pick up 7 yards on first down. Kelsey Riggs joins us. She's down on the field. Kels?
Well, you guys talked a little bit about the last 2 weeks. Virginia definitely not happy with the way those 2 weeks have gone. And Bryce Perkins said right now it's about them regaining their own destiny. Said they've got to be ready for a dogfight every single time. Bryce looking to get them back on track. A key for them in this game. How can they finish these drives off in the red zone? It's something they struggled with last week against Miami.
Yeah, they really did last week against Miami in the red zone. Week before that loss against Notre Dame, they were turning the ball over too much. And this offensive line needs to protect Bryce Perkins a little bit better than they have over the last couple of games. Perkins now looks to throw, hits a receiver. That's going to be a first down. Still on his feet. They'll give him about 4 yards on the reception by Assis Dubois, and it's going to be a first down for Virginia.
Good job just finding what the defense gave him in the zone, but you got two big receivers for this team. Joe Reed, we saw him on the return, and then Assis Dubois. They have filled in so well at this wide receiver position, and they are giving Bryce Perkins options, not only short like you just saw, but down the field. They have explosive ability.
Speaking of explosive ability, here's Perkins trying to find room up the middle. Design quarterback draw. Give him just 2.
Yeah, and that explosive ability, sometimes it comes out of the backfield where there you might get a hand on the jet sweep, or they can hit a little screen pass and they can break one. But Bryce Perkins has really worked on his down the field throws, his deep balls, and he can drop it in there to these 2 star receivers.
Perkins the give to Talapapa. Dances his way for another couple of yards, maybe a yard. It'll bring him 3rd down and 7. Nice job by that Duke defense to clog up the middle. Kobe Kwanzaa in on the tackle, and he's still down on the turf. That is not good news for Duke early on. One of the team captains of this team.
Yeah, it looks like he's miming that he was hit on the outside of his knee. Hopefully it's just a bump.
Kobe Kwanzaa walking off the field. We had a chance to chat with him earlier in the week. Dynamic young man, both on and off the football field. Involved in a lot of charities. Certainly hope he's all right. Walking off under his own power. There's Coach Cutcliffe. 13th season here at Duke. Clearly, when you talk about from a consistency standpoint in terms of winning and losing, as consistent a winner as Duke has had certainly in the modern era as a football coach.
Yeah, he's taken this Duke program and really turned them around. Really good job of consistency at that program.
Perkins leaps over the defender. He's going to be close to a first down, but coming up just a little bit short. 4 yards on the carry. Edgar Serenord brought him down, but it's going to bring up a 4th down. Now what are you going to do here? This early in the game, you're going to go for it?
Well, before we go to that, look at this hurdle. He didn't even have a running start at it. It just kind of leapt over him. And I think they needed to create momentum. We talked to Bronco Mendenhall. He was disappointed with how his team played in crunch time, whether it's the red zone or third down. Prior a couple of weeks, now fourth down, they need this one right here.
Perkins is going to keep it, and he's going to pick up the first.
And you saw what Perkins can do on the ground right there. Although only 1 yard, you saw the hurdle before, but he is a dynamic runner. And he comes in 6'3", 215-pound quarterback. He moves really well. When we talk to Duke and their defense, they want to keep him contained in the pocket because he does such a good job when he gets outside the pocket, throwing the ball. When we talked to Cutcliffe, he said, man, this guy can throw from any body position and hit his guys downfield.
Empty backfield for Perkins. Fresh set of downs for Virginia, their first offensive drive of the game. Quickly outside, hits his receiver. That's Joe Reed. Give him 7. Michael Carter, the strong safety, coming up to make the stop for the Blue Devils.
Well, that's exactly what UVA wants. When they're in that empty look in the shotgun with Bryce Perkins, they want to give him a quick read. I think when he struggles is when that first read is taken away and the wide receivers get jammed up. He tends to panic a little bit in the pocket, but right there, timing routes on this first drive.
Tall Papa tries a back shoulder throw. He couldn't get it to Dubois. Leonard Johnson had good coverage for the Blue Devils.
Yeah, it was a good job by Johnson on the coverage here. Look at him get his hands on early, delays the release of Dubois, and that's where you want to throw the ball. Bryce Perkins throwing on a back shoulder when you have the defensive back's back turned to you. Just too good at the line of scrimmage. Wasn't able to get free, turn back and get that catch. Now another 3rd and 5, and this is that fringe area where they need to convert here.
Perkins has a man. That's Reed. Takes one defender inside the 15, down to the 13.
Well, as we said, that explosive nature from these wide receivers can come either with the big passes down the field or like you saw just there, the quick pass to his guys who, this is a kick returner. Get the ball in his hands, make a guy miss, get a few yards. Now you're in the red zone where you need to capitalize. They were so poor in the red zone last week. 6 possessions inside Miami's 26-yard line. They only came away with 3 field goals. That's not good enough.
Perkins gonna keep it. That Peacock leading him into the hole, but that hole closed up quickly. Trayvon McSwain was there to close it up for the Blue Devils.
Yeah, Trayvon McSwain's starting this game, replacing Derek Tangelo, who has an upper body injury, but McSwain's no stranger to this field. He started last year at this defensive tackle position, and he's a big body in there. Did a great job of taking on that double team and making the play for just a short game.
Perkins picked up 2 on first down. Perkins has time. Now we'll look to run it. He's just going to run out of bounds, picking up maybe a foot or 2 on the play. It'll bring up a big 3rd down. This drive now, start of the game, we're already 6+ minutes in for Virginia.
And he pulled the ball down, and watching the back of the end zone, he has his running back and tight end wide open, but when he pulls the ball down, his eyes are low and isn't able to see his receivers. I think if he was able to kind of pick his head up, he found his guys, and that could have been a score right there.
Backfield empty for the 12th play of this drive to open the game for Virginia. All kinds of time. Now it's closing down on Perkins. Keeps the play alive. Into the end zone. That one's going to be intercepted. Leonard Johnson picks him off.
Leonard Johnson on a huge interception in the end zone.
So an opportunity to see Duke now in their first offensive possession of the game. And their quarterback, Quentin Harris, keeps it. He picks up a nice gain on first down.
And you see Harris right here. His ability to run the ball, as you just saw, but he was really good as a passer. He's throwing the ball downfield really well. When I talked to Daniel Jones the other day about him, he said, watch his deep ball. He is so accurate with it. And then his release. He has not taken many sacks, partially because he gets the ball out so fast.
Jordan Mack making the stop on Deion Jackson. Your first down for Duke. Let's take a look at that interception that gave Duke the football. I mentioned it. Perkins, he does such a great job of keeping plays alive, Mark, and he keeps this one alive. But once again, they had problems in the red zone last week, and again this week, he threw the interception to give the ball back to Duke. That's Jalen Calhoun, the true freshman, on the jet sweep. Always able to pick up, though, 2 or 3 yards against this very stingy Virginia defense. Noah Taylor and company there for the stop.
Yeah, and I think you see the linebackers playing exceptionally well, but go back to that interception. You talk about sometimes when you harp on things all week as coaching staff and as an offense, you start to press a little bit at that quarterback position. You say, okay, I have to make a play in the red zone. We can't settle for a field goal. And what happened was he just forced that one in there, an errant pass for an interception. But now, as in true nature, UVA's defense has held up to that quick change, sudden change, and now you're going to see everybody on the line of scrimmage right here. Where are they going to bring pressure from? This is what UVA loves.
Opting to give it to Jackson. Trying to find that first down to gain marker. Cannot do it. Tris Moore is there for the stop. And Virginia has presumably forced Duke to punt on their first offensive possession of the day.
When we talked to Charles Snowden this week, he said, what we do best is when we know that you're in third down, we can tee off and come after you. They get the same look pretty much every time. It's third and medium, third and long. And they blitz some, they drop some right there. Duke tried to run the ball right at him and was unsuccessful.
Austin Parker with the punt. Fair catch signaled by Billy Kemp IV. Makes the fair catch. Virginia with the ball again when we come back.
Delay going.
Duke and Virginia scoreless. First quarter, 6:03 remaining. Virginia with their second offensive possession of this game. First possession, that man right there, Bryce Perkins, led him all the way down the field but threw a pick in the end zone. So an opportunity for retribution after the defense made a stand.
Yeah, and right here, they need to just wipe that interception out of their heads and start playing the football. They marched down the field really well, hit the targets that were open, need to establish that run game, which they haven't been able to do very well.
The handoff to Reed. He's tracked down and dropped for a loss.
And that's not how you establish the run game. They tried to give it to Joe Reed, who's Mr. Everything, and just was unable to run away from Kobe Kwanzaa, who did a really good job of setting this edge. You can see him from the linebacker position, number 49. He's just read the play. He's seen that on film before. One thing you're not going to do is outsmart this Duke defense, and he was right there for the big stop in the backfield.
4-yard loss on first down, putting Virginia behind the chains. Perkins. Wow. Tried to get it inside. Leonard Johnson was there again. Was looking for his tight end, Tanner Cowley, and Johnson almost had pick number 2 on the afternoon.
Yeah, Leonard Johnson, he's been watching film too, and he knows that if he's playing off a little bit, then they're going to throw those quick balls. He baited Bryce Perkins on that one and was eyeing that inside target, jumped that route really well. 3rd and 14. This is where Bryce Perkins has to hit these deep balls on the field. Duke could send pressure here.
Blue Devils come with 4. Perkins is going to try and run it himself, and he won't even get close. 4 yards on the carry. Then they'll bring up 4th and long. Virginia forced the punt now.
Well, you have a quarterback that can run the ball and pass the ball. But it's not like he's a bad deep ball. I mean, like, to me, that call on 3rd and 14, that was a give-up call. I don't see why you run a quarterback run. You got to throw it downfield.
Nash Griffin to punt it for Virginia. Good kick into a little bit of a wind here at Scott Stadium. Driving Josh Blackwell all the way back to his 26. Blackwell now bounces it outside. He's brought down with a flag. Got a flag on the play.
So it might have been a block in the back.
.48 yards on the punt. We'll check on the flag.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Receiving team, number 3. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Daryl Harding with the block in the back infraction. Marcus Woods, our referee for the day.
Players rallying around him too. His defensive backs this week wore, believe, 34 shirts before this game. That's, of course, Bryce Hall's number.
Yeah, Bryce Hall, not only is he such an impact player on the field, but what he's been able to do with his team in the locker room, his attitude was so impressive, Kelsey. As we talked to him, he said, hey, you know, I was almost prepared for this. He was given one of his mentor pastors, Rich Wilkerson's message, Purpose in Pain. He said, I have to find my purpose through this pain right now, and I will get through this. And his ability to stay positive with such a devastating injury has inspired his team.
Well, they need to be inspired here after 3 and out for Duke on their first possession, facing another possible 3 and out here with a 3rd and 6. Deion Jackson moves out of the backfield into the slot.
Linebacker pressure up the middle.
Harris can't connect with his receiver, and another 4th down for the Blue Devils.
Virginia played off in coverage that time with their outside backers, brought the inside guys, forced Quentin Harris to get the ball out fast. Big stop for Virginia. And we questioned that 3rd and 14, just doing a quarterback sneak. I think Virginia has so much confidence in their defense. They're playing the field position game right now. And with the defense playing like this, it's working.
Austin Parker back in the punt for Duke. At the 4th, waiting for it for the Hoos. Low punt, this is return to Kemp. Couldn't make the first man miss. Gets his teammates there to help him. So not a very long punt, but nothing on the return. Virginia will take over from the 36 with Bryce Perkins and company back. Talapapa puts his shoulder down, gains a yard or 2 after contact. Give him about 4 or 5 on the carry. Counted off at 4.
And you saw some of those numbers from Bryce Perkins, and I talked to his older brother Paul last night. I played with Paul for a few years at the New York Giants, and it was really interesting. Paul suffered an injury at the Giants and was out and had to have surgery, and Bryce went up and stayed with him in New York and just kind of guided him through the recovery and the process, and mentally keeping him focused on what is next to come. Bryce having his own injury, as you saw in that picture, was huge help to his brother Paul in terms of recovery. He's with the Detroit Lions now at running back.
Nice play to stop Kemp for no gain. Dylan Singleton coming from his safety spot.
I've been really impressed so far with Duke's defense, and you know, we knew they were pretty good, but we thought UVA might have some explosive firepower on the outside, but they've been all but shut down so far, and it's got to look reminiscent of the struggles that UVA had last week, only scoring 9 points.
Another 3rd down for the Cavs. Perkins rolls the pocket, flag down. Ooh. Perkins is going to be down, gets his football off, but it falls incomplete. They're going to rule it an incomplete pass. Brandon Hill was there to bring him down. Let's check on the call.
Holding, offense, number 69. The penalty is declined. 4th down.
Chris Glazier, guilty of holding. It's declined. What do you make of him throwing this football? Dangerous.
Well, we saw earlier his making the play with his feet and then throwing an interception. You don't want to take a sack, obviously. However, throw the ball all the way out of bounds. If you're going to throw the ball away, really throw it away. Don't even give an opportunity for anyone to catch it.
Nash Griffin the punt. Good high punt. It's going to get a Virginia bounce, but it hit a Virginia player well before they were able to fall on it, so we'll see where the scoreless here in Charlottesville, Virginia. Minute 46 left to go in this first quarter. Chris Cotter, Mark Herzlich, Kelsey Riggs on the call. Let's take a look at that punt on that last play. Nash Griffin Who does it hit? Well, you had a Duke Blue Devil there. And remember this Virginia team, too. It looked like it hit Jalen Alexander. No, Jalen Alexander is the player for Duke. It missed him and hit a Virginia player.
Yeah, there was a lot of pointing going on by Virginia players because they just saw the ball nick, but they tried to do their best job to lobby to the refs. But I think the replay official upstairs goes, no, tell them they're wrong. Duke ball, first down, Quentin Harris. Now they're in that wing T set. They're a little bit different formation. See the runs out of this.
Jackson, not much doing, picks up maybe 3 yards.
Well, we talked to David Cutcliffe about this wing tee, and he kind of had it in his mind a little bit last year. But this offseason, with the change of quarterback to Quentin Harris from Daniel Jones and the ability to find a power running game, he thought this was their best option. He said we could run it 10 times a game or 30 times a game. Back-to-back plays here.
Now the handoff around the end. That's Jalen Coleman. He's going to get dropped for a loss. Big old Charles Snowden was there on the tackle.
Yeah, one thing, when you're trying to get the ball outside, it's so difficult versus these long athletic players. Watch number 11 stick that right arm out and just continue to widen. He's creating an edge to the defense that allows everybody from the inside out to come. And now Virginia got Duke back in 3rd and long, and they're still in this wing T set. See if they throw the ball out of it this time.
They do. Ball is batted up in the air and incomplete. Shane Zandier, ZZ stop on the deflection.
ZZ stop with that cast on his right hand. And UVA basically said, okay, you're going to line up in wing T. You're going to try to trick us. Well, we're just going to come after you and do what we do best. They are putting their cornerbacks on islands. Yeah, they're missing Bryce Hall, but
37 seconds.
But they have so much.
Set the game clock to 37 seconds.
They have so much confidence in Nick Grant and Devontae Cross on the outside that they feel comfortable with that pressure. And Zane Zandier got his hands up to knock that one down. Another 3 and out for this Virginia defense.
Yeah, that defense has held Duke to just 1 first down in this first quarter. Parker with another punt. Kemp is going to signal for a fair catch at his own 22 and makes it. ACC prime time coming up next. Florida State, Wake Forest. It's our primetime matchup presented by Geico. It's also available on the ESPN app. They'll start at 7:30 tonight right here on the ACC network. Storylines today in the ACC. How about Boston College? 429 yards on the ground against the NC State team that came in ranked 6th in the country against the run.
And they had 200 yards rushing just in the second quarter alone. And A.J. Dillon, David Bailey are their bell cows back there. But that offensive line can move people around.
6 yards for Perkins on first down. Georgia Tech, you just saw it here on the ACC network earlier with the overtime win in Miami. And Clemson got off to a slow start.
But I know you're excited about that Georgia Tech win. It's huge for that program.
Yeah, just got to figure out ways to win games. And they were able to find a way in overtime down in Miami, so it's a big road win for Coach Collins and crew. Scoreless here through 1 quarter of play. Virginia, Duke, a key ACC Coastal game, still far from being decided. Second quarter on the way. Scoreless here in Charlottesville as we head to the second quarter. Virginia took the opening kickoff, marched 45 yards downfield, threw a pick in the end zone. Since then, 11 yards of offense for the Cavaliers.
Yeah, really getting nothing going. They're trying to get some run game going, but they just need to find ways to get the ball to their players and do it. Going deep right here.
Trying to get it to Reed. He was covered downfield nicely by Michael Carter II.
Yeah, Michael Carter is one of their best defensive backs, and he's probably going to be matched up a lot on Joe Reed, especially when they're going man-to-man. He's got a little bit of speed and ability to make some plays. Not quite as tall as Joe Reed, but wants to try to get his hands on him and be physical before the route starts.
Virginia just 1 for 4 on third down. Facing another one here, 3rd and 4. Trying to quickly get it to Dubois, and he does. That'll move the chains.
Cease Dubois, your 6'3" wide receiver. Really good job by Bryce Perkins to throw it up over the defender, and Dubois has a wide catch radius and is able to come down with that.
The ruling on the field is a catch. The previous play is under further review.
And they're going to look to see if he did step out of bounds before he came down. From that initial look, it looks like he did gain that catch, but this is something that Bryce Perkins does really well. When he has time to throw the ball and to make some plays, he can put it where he wants it. It just seems like so far he's pressing, he's rushing, he's trying to make a play that's not there. That one was there. And let's see if looks like he got that left foot down in bounds before the right leg came down.
No movement of that football either in his hands. As you take a look, he brings it in, left foot down first. Our replay official today, Bruce Palmer, now in consult with Marcus Woods, our referee. There you see Woods on the right. If the play stands, it'll be Virginia's first down since that opening drive.
Yeah, and they did a really good job last week of moving the ball. That wasn't the issue.
Between the 20s.
Correct.
Yeah.
It was once they got in the red zone, if they could capitalize or not.
The ruling on the field is confirmed.
Catch is confirmed by Dubois. First down, Cavs.
Yeah, and you didn't see these struggles in the middle of the field like you're seeing right now against this Duke defense. But last week, they were unable to just punch the ball in the end zone. You saw that graphic earlier with 6 trips down inside the 26, only came away with 3 field goals. They just need to get in the red zone right now.
Perkins to throw, going up top again, looking for Dubois. Gets himself some space and makes the catch. Still in bounds. Finally dropped out of bounds after a 25-yard pitch and catch. Another first down for the Hoos.
Well, Dubois uses his body and his strength. He gets a release. Good job by Josh Blackwell to get hands on, but at the very end of the play, Dubois just says, "Get off me." Comes back, makes the big play, and then you can see how hard it is to take this guy down. Unbelievable core strength, ability to adjust in the air. Came down with another big play.
Fake to Talapapa. Finds his tight end, Cowley. A lot of room to roam. Stiff arms his way down to the 16. Make it to 17, 19 yards on the catch by Tanner Cowley. Last time Virginia was in the red zone, as they find themselves here. Bryce Perkins couldn't finish the drive.
Yeah, and he does a good job of keeping the play alive, but watch the blocking by his offensive lineman. He had absolutely no pressure until very end, but he starts to press. He knows he needs to produce in the red zone. Got a little bit too greedy. An off-balance pass. That's rare for him, but calls the interception.
Picked off by Leonard Johnson. Now he finds Reed inside the 10, bang down at the 5.
Perkins complete control.
All right, well, Bryce Perkins has settled down. This UVA offense has gotten back to what they do well. They have not rushed the ball very well in the past. They tried to do that in the first couple drives, but now they just said, okay, we can throw the ball to our playmakers really well. Let's do that, get some momentum, and we'll worry about running the ball later.
Look at Virginia with 0 touchdowns in their last 7 quarters. We talked about the offensive struggles here over the last couple of games. Well, now they have another opportunity here. First and goal from the 5. Perkins is going to keep it himself. To the goal line, down at the 1, inside the 1.
UVA lined up with their big personnel, and this is kind of their goal line look where they know they have a dynamic runner in their quarterback, so why not add an extra blocker? Got right down to the 1-yard line. I wouldn't expect to see the ball leave number 3's hands. Look for him to just punch it in. Very same play coming up right here.
He's got Talapapa and big old Jamari Peacock in the backfield with him.
Looks like there's some big gaps in here in that Duke defense. They just try to find it right in between there.
Those gaps close quickly. Perkins can't get in. As a matter of fact, he lost about a yard.
They sure did, and the reason why those gaps closed quickly is because Kobe Kwanzaa came right in and fired through there, taking out the lead blocker, Jamari Peacock. Stalled Bryce Perkins in the backfield, and now we're at third down. Not as easy as just punching in with your quarterback anymore. Let's see if he gets outside of the pocket and tries to make a play with his arm. Run pass option for him here.
Gonna keep it. On the outside, hurdles the defender into the end zone.
Well, maybe it is just as easy as giving it to your quarterback. With the leap over the defender, really holds the ball in there for a slight second and then pulls it, runs around. I mean, just a really good job of finding the end zone. Something that his teammates said about him is he is relentless, and he was relentless on that play. Not taking no for an answer, finding his way into the end zone. Big score. Finally got that touchdown they've been looking for.
Brian Delaney in for the point after try. Sends it through the uprights with the fans on the hill behind him. Virginia on the board first here. Virginia senior quarterback Bryce Perkins responsible for every yard on that Wahoo drive that ended up in 6 points, including the touchdown run for 2 yards out. Not unusual for him to be responsible for the lion's share of yardage for this team, passing, running.
Yeah, not at all, but you know, testament to UVA, and they're wanting to get back on track. They stalled out so many times in the first few drives. Now, okay, let's put the ball in our best player's hands, Bryce Perkins, let him throw it around, get some yards in the ground. And they just, you saw him down the red zone, they just trusted him with the ball, even after that interception on that first drive.
Brian Delaney, the kicker, out of the back of the end zone. Duke will take over on their own 25. There's a good look at this linebacker for Virginia, Charles Snowden. You and Kelsey went through on a hospital visit with him earlier in the week.
Yes, at the University of Virginia Medical Center, they went as a team, and they visited a bunch of kids who were at extended stays in this hospital. And this is not something that was a one-off. They do this every time they have a home game and just bring a lot of joy and happiness to some of the young kids that are fighting for their lives. And when these families have this presence of a player on a team that they love come and see them in the hospital, it just gives a little reprieve. And that reprieve is so important for the patients. But when we talk to the players, they said this is the absolute best part of our week. Yeah, the games are fun and we love to win, but this is what it's all about. And Bronco Mendenhall has created an atmosphere at UVA that is all about service, and you see a lot of that yesterday when we went with them to that hospital.
Very cool to see that. Flag down on the play after Durant went for about 4 yards on second down.
There's a penalty flag on the field.
See what the call is here from referee Marcus Woods.
Personal foul, illegal block below the waist, offense number 19, 15-yard penalty. Check it out.
Mark, you touched on it and what it means to these players. It's not something that Bronco Mendenhall requires them to do. It's something that they want to do, and they said it's something that's one of the best parts of the week. But also, I got to stay back and talk with one of the moms that was in there. It means a lot to the kids that are in this children's hospital, but also to the families, you know, just breaking up the monotony of what they're going through every single day and giving a little distraction for the entire families in there. The mom that we talked to was disappointed that her son wasn't there because she says that he is definitely a big Virginia fan, but really cool to see those guys take the day and do that.
Second down and 18. And a run by Harris to get a big chunk of that yardage back. Zane Zandier was there for the stop. Duke offense has not been able to really get anything going here this afternoon, and now they're faced with a 3rd and 10.
Virginia Tech fans, the Wahoo fans are on their feet, the sidelines jumping around because this is what they love. Get in our nickel package and come after the quarterback. Let's see where the pressure comes from.
Harris tries to throw it and he's intercepted. 25, 22, Brent Nelson returns it for the Hoos.
We'll look back at the replay to see if he caught it, but for right now, the Wahoo sideline is on fire. Let's see if he can get underneath this cleanly. Looks like he does. And watch the pressure late. Charles Snowden goes right under the block, and Jordan Mack comes late on a secondary contained pressure. And really ill-advised throw by Quentin Harris, but UVA loves when they can get the opposing team in 3rd and long because they tee off just like that.
The ruling on the field is an interception. The previous play is under further review.
Well, Marcus Woods and company, they're going to review this. I'm not so sure why you even have to review this. It was obvious, the catch.
But again, look at the throw by Quentin Harris. It's not going to be to anybody. Maybe, I'm just speculating. Maybe the jersey got caught in the background on the sideline, and that's the defensive back maybe had a camouflage technique there. But that's the only way that it could have possibly been anything.
But reviewing whether that knee was down to see where to spot the football. Right there, that left knee. Looks like there's some space there between the grass and the knee. That's what they're taking a look at right now.
Yeah, remember the call on the field, interception. Obviously, we know it's a catch. And they returned it, and that's where they spotted the ball after the return. So we'll see what the officials rule. But, Chris, I think you're right. It looks like they're, I kind of looked at the grass. Did anything move after the knee came up? And it didn't look like anything did.
Brenton Nelson with his first pick of the year, setting up the Cavs in good shape.
The ruling on the field is confirmed.
So Virginia will take over from the Duke 21.
I love the rep there. It's simple. It's just confirmed.
That's it.
No explanation needed. Let's play ball.
Nelson in this defense celebrates. They've turned the ball over too often in the last couple games, and they haven't forced enough turnovers. So picking up on that side of the football. Now can the offense make good with it? To Reed. Perkins is going to slips one tackle in the backfield, keeps his feet churning, picks up 4 yards.
Bryce Perkins carries.
Wansa on the stop for Duke. Clock winding inside of 10 minutes here in this first half. Bronco Mendenhall, his 4th year here in Virginia. His team has improved their win-loss records every single year. A lot of people thought they were the odds-on favorite at the start of the year to win that ACC Coastal. A win here would certainly keep them in the hunt. Perkins, they got to run again. Again, 4 yards.
And Duke just went straight man-to-man on their defense. They're actually doubling the tight end, one of the red zone targets. And a lot of times versus man-to-man, you see the backs turn, and Bryce Perkins, quarterback, just says, okay, I'm going to run and get what I can get. 3rd and short. This is a better 3rd down, 3rd and short. Bryce Perkins can either do it with his legs or with his arm in this down and distance.
Cavs need 2 yards to pick up the first. He gives it to Papa. Can't quite get free. Just trying to power his way to the stick. Won't get there. Brandon Hill.
You see Bryce Perkins at the end of that play just pushing.
Trying, doing all he
sometimes you
can.
see the offensive lineman pushing him.
Just too much.
Yeah, that was
Drew Jordan on the stop.
Yeah, good job again by Trevin McSwain of pushing back the offensive lineman. Tripped up Tanner Cowley, the tight end, coming across, and that disrupted the backfield. Good by players getting a chance here. 5th-year seniors played before. In for the injured Angelo.
Ryan Delaney in for a 30-yard field goal. And you get a whistle and a timeout. Bronco Mendenhall may be thinking about this, thinking about going for it on 4th down and 2. We'll come back with his.
That rut in the red zone and continue on from here, scoring touchdowns. But right now, They were stalled out. It looks like they're going to have to settle for a field goal.
Yeah, Mendenhall called a timeout after sending Brian Delaney, his field goal kicker, out. Talked things over with his assistants. Thought it over. Decided, let's try for the 3. So Delaney used 10 of 14 in kicking field goals on the year. We'll try from 30 out. And Delaney is true. Virginia extends their lead. It's 10-0 with 8:01 here in the second quarter. Don't miss the Huddle, our signature football show hosted by Jack Collinsworth with analysts Eric McLean, BJ Manuel, and Mark Richt. They'll preview the weekend slate of games and keep you up to date on all things ACC football. Live next Friday night at 8 Eastern and Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern special time right here on the ACC network and on the ESPN app. Nice crowd here today at Scott Stadium. Beautiful fall afternoon. Mendenhall opting to go for the 3. His defense has been dominant. They've held Duke to just 1 first down and 40 total yards here in this game so far.
Yeah, I mean, you saw that early decision to kind of give it up on that 3rd and 14 and punt the ball away. And 3 points here looks like the right decision, absolutely. I mean, obviously it's early in the game, you want to take the points, but with your defense playing so well, you're counting on more tackles for loss, more sacks, and more interceptions.
Delaney out of the back of the end zone. This Virginia defense comes back on the field, and as does Quentin Harris. Got to figure some way to get this team in motion. This kid waited a long time for his opportunity at Duke. Comes from a football family as well. Father, Kevin, played at Georgia. Between the hedges. He's busy. He's a busy man when he's not on the football field.
Yeah, he absolutely is. But I mean, talk about interning at JP Morgan in your offseason. You don't see a lot of guys doing that. When I was with the New York Giants, I got the chance to do an internship with JP Morgan as well. But when he was talking, my mind was spinning because he was doing commodity trading. He was absolutely in it. Really bright young man, really intelligent, and he is. He's their captain. He's the leader of this offense, even though it's his first year as the true starter.
Off target on first down, 2nd down for the Blue Devils. Harris again to pass, this time over the middle, hits a tight end. That's Noah Gray. Give him 5. It'll bring up yet another 3rd down.
Saw that quick release from Quentin Harris on that play. Taking with the defense, get him right back in the same formation. Let's see if he gets it out fast here.
He does. Again to Gray. And that's going to be close to a first down. Let's see where they mark it. They're going to mark him short.
Yeah, it looks like just short. And this is the decision right here. I'm sure it's going to be a quick decision.
Offense staying on the field, at least for now.
Yep, going back to that same formation. Let's see if this is a QB draw or to that tight end again.
It's a draw. He's going to be stopped shy of the line of game. Noah Taylor was there to meet him. What do you make of the decision to go for it deep in your own territory like that? You're down just 10 here in the first half.
Well, this is a game of momentum, and David Cutcliffe wanted to regain that momentum, and Zach Roper, the offensive coordinator, felt that he had something going on this drive. A little bit too long in the communication between the sideline and the quarterback. I would like them to see them get up in that play right away and run it rather than motioning, but either way, Virginia was ready. Virginia knew what we knew up in the booth, that, hey, look, they're probably going to keep it in number 18's hands, and Noah Taylor, their stud outside linebacker, made a huge play.
Perkins, pressure comes in and drops.
All right, well, here he is again. Watch number 51, Dimu Keji. Remember that name. He had 3 sacks last week. Starts this game off with another one. He can absolutely wreck games, and he is one of the true pure pass rushers, has a motor that never stops for this Duke defense.
Loss of 6 on the play. He's just what Duke needed after that change of possession. Perkins. To the outside. Jana. Marquise Waters finally brings him down, but a gain of 13, so they get a lot of that yardage back.
See if we can see how wide open Jan is. He just did a little stop route. They talked about working on their scramble drill. When the quarterback gets outside the pocket or is flushed, the wide receivers have to come back to him, find the sideline, get there, and come back to their quarterback. Really good job by Jan on that scramble drill to pick up a big gain.
Perkins is going to keep it. Gets the first down and more. Inside the 20. Marquise Waters again there to bring him down, but the Cavs will move the sticks.
Can't really tell if that was a design quarterback run or if he had the pass option first and just pulled it down, but if it was a design pass, you're seeing a decision by Bryce Perkins really early in the down to just pull it and run. To me, I want to see him go through his progressions and then do that as a last resort rather than seemingly running for his life on a quick decision. Either way, though, first down you get. Replay here.
Flag is down. They get another, the Flagler might get another one in the end zone. Trying to get it to Terrell Chapman.
Offside, defense, number 96. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Chris Rumpf offsides. But here's Blackwell fighting with Chapman. A little hand fighting there.
Yeah, a little hand fighting. You know, he got in there, but
no harm, no foul.
Yeah, I don't think the ball was catchable. It was a little bit outside. Bryce Perkins just threw it up because he knew he had a free play. I had 1st and 5. You like 1st and 5 plays as an offensive coordinator.
The whole playbook is open for you, isn't it? Perkins feels the pressure. He'll go down.
Guess who that was? Victor Dimukeji again.
Remember that name. That's 2 sacks now and counting in this game.
Yeah, and watch him come off this edge. He just beats the offensive lineman right off. And look at that move. He gets that hand in and the swipe down. That's one of those stab and swipes you teach the DNs and outside linebackers. And he's fired up.
2 sacks on the day, 7 on the year.
He's on fire. Sometimes when you're a pass rusher, you get on fire. He's working it right now.
Perkins looks for Reed. They connect. He drags the defender down to the 13. It's Blackwell on his back, but he gains 7 yards.
Well, right now, Duke's playing a lot of man-to-man on the outside, and I guarantee when Bryce Perkins sees that man-to-man against either Joe Reed or Assis Dubois, he is going to throw it right out to them because they're so good at using their body to just shield off the defender. Big completion, but this is a huge 3rd down. You need this in order to get in the end zone and not settle for 3.
Perkins looks for Dubois. One-handed catch. Was he inbounds?
He was.
They're ruling him inbounds. We do have a flag on the play. What a catch by Dubois.
Well, Leonard Johnson got the best of an earlier matchup for the interception. However, Assis, that's ridiculous. Oh, but his toe.
It looks like that may be on the chalk, don't you think?
Yeah. First of all, that catch is insane. Second, I do think that toe was on the line. I'm not sure if the ball came out too on the ground. See right here.
It was ruled a catch on the field. It looks to me like his toe was on the chalk.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with you, Chris, right there.
Pass interference, defense, number 31. That penalty is declined. Result of the play is the catch, first down.
Yeah, right there you saw.
Correction, 33.
Saw that foot as we saw, but.
Well, now that was the call on the field, which was the pass interference, which was declined, assuming that the catch was made. Now our referee, Marcus Woods, is going to speak to our replay official, Bruce Palmer, to see if it was indeed a catch. we'll get the call on the way back. Pass interference, and is still not able to punch it in. The end result was really the same. 1st and goal for Virginia, the 2. Now it's 2nd and goal from the 1 after Perkins carried for a yard.
Yeah, seemingly it didn't matter in terms of the overall outcome of the game. But Assis Dubois would have liked for that one to be on his highlight reel as a catch. But Duke standing up big on the 2-yard line.
They need to. This field has been tilted in this direction this 2nd quarter. Perkins is going to keep it all the way as a blocker in front. He's trying to get to the edge, cuts it back. Brought down just shy of the goal line. Michael Carter was there for the stop. 3rd and goal.
And look at the Duke Blue Devils just shoot their gun. Take that gap away, take that gap away, string it out. And then the edge was set. That's a great job by the inside pursuit. And a really good job by 26 Michael Carter to set that edge of the defense.
Tight formation for Perkins. Tries to power his way in.
Ball looks like he's on the ground. Duke might have recovered that fumble.
The official on the far side is calling the play dead. Dylan Singleton was in the bottom of that pile. Duke saying it's their ball. Perkins saying it's a touchdown. And it is Duke football.
The ruling on the field is a fumble recovered by Duke. The previous play is under further review.
And we saw the football kind of bounce out a little bit. But right here, it looks like as it starts to, okay.
Now was that ball across the plane in his possession before it came out? That's what the officials are going to look for. The whistle hadn't blown in terms of stopping his forward progress.
Nope.
Before the ball came out. Right there, does he have possession with the ball crossing the plane before it comes out? It looked like Kobe Kwanzaa was the one who fell on it for Duke. Take a look at this angle right here. Below, the ball is in his possession. Is it coming out there?
Right there.
It looks like he still has it there.
Looks like he has the ball in his hands. The only question was the ball was moving a little bit before that point. It does look like it stopped at that moment, but let's see as the ball transfers from his right to his left hand. Right in there, is there control? And it looks like he has control right there.
Before it was knocked out one final time and Kwanzaa fell on it. That is a tough call for the replay official, Bruce Palmer, to make. Bronco says it's good. Bronco says it's a touchdown, of course.
Bronco has his hand raised, and I guarantee someone's telling Bryce Perkins, hey, bro, don't make it too close.
After further review, the run that stretched the ball across the goal line is over the play is a touchdown.
Much to the delight of the fans here at Scott Stadium, the call overturned. Touchdown, Virginia.
Oh, a sigh of relief out of Bryce Perkins. It turned the ball over too many times versus Notre Dame. Couldn't get it in the end zone. Last week versus Miami, that could have been a disaster in both areas. But he turned around and said, I told you I had it. I knew I had it the whole entire time. Bryce Perkins did it himself once again.
Great job by the holder that time on the PAT try. Nash Griffin, who's also the punter, got it down. Delaney buries the PAT. Yeah, Broncos happy, Virginia's happy. They're up 17. 18-0 after Duke went for it on 4th down in their own territory. And Perkins, as we've seen oftentimes, he really is this Virginia offense.
Yeah, and he's done so much for this team this entire year, and especially today. Look at what he's been able to do himself. Obviously, he had the mistake touchdown that he would love to have back, but everything else has just been Bryce Perkins all day, and big plays by his receivers, Joe Reed and Assis Dubois on the outside as well.
Delaney puts it out of the back of the end zone again. Duke will start from their own 25. Coming up on the State Farm halftime report, Miami missed opportunities at home against Georgia Tech. What is going on with the Canes? Clemson, slow start, but then they really turn things on. And Florida State, wait, coming up. Prime time tonight on the ACC Network. We'll have a preview of that big contest as well. What are you doing? We talked about Coach Cutcliffe as the diabolical genius offensively at the top of the show. They have 1 first down.
Yeah, and I think they're probably going to go back to what they were doing pretty well last drive before they got stopped in 4th down. But get the ball out quick, empty it out.
Receivers need to make plays for him too. Quentin Harris put that right on the money, and Mateo Durant dropped it.
Yeah, and you know, we talk about the mastermind in Cutcliffe, but you don't take anything from Nick Howell and his defense. This UVA defense has been flying around, and they're really well tuned in to what Duke's doing.
Harris here quickly hits his receiver, slips a tackle, close to a first down. That's Eli Pancall, one of these true freshman receivers that Cutcliffe will line up out on the outside.
So Cutcliffe right now and Zach Roper, they're spreading Virginia's defense out wide. They're going fast. They're trying not to allow them to get a lot of blitzes in so they don't get as many pressure on the quarterback. And if you can get it, you see right there, you see Charles Snowden able to make that play, but it's not after an 8-yard pickup. If you can get these guys who love rushing the passer out in space, it works to your favor.
Harris steps up, avoids the rush, still on his feet, gets to midfield and a first down.
Great.
Well, we've seen it from Bryce Perkins. Now we're seeing it from Harris.
No, and it was great improvisation by Quentin Harris. That for sure, that was not a designed run for him. But what he's able to do, he sees everybody drop back. There's only 4 rushers for UVA, and they're running a little twist on up front. But he sees the zone and finds that one little lane he can get through to find the first down, and then you see his balance at the end of the play. We talked to Cutcliffe. He said, look, he's not a runner. He's not my running quarterback. However, what we saw just there, he can run. He can throw the ball well too, but he can run.
He has 380 yards on the ground, net yards this year, and 5 touchdowns carrying the football. So
But I don't think there's anything wrong. Like, you know, I think there's a negative connotation sometimes put when you're labeled a running quarterback. Maybe it means you sometimes can't throw the ball.
Right.
Well, he's definitely a dual-purpose quarterback. He can throw and run, dual-threat guy for this Duke team.
So the Blue Devils getting something going here now at midfield. Down 17, using their first timeout. They still have 2 in the bank. Split out of the backfield at the top of your screen. Harris looks his way. Throws. Oh, dangerous. Almost picked off by Zane Zandier.
Really good job by Virginia disguising this defense. They show off with their corners, then come down, and Zane Zandier is responsible for that curl flat window. He sees the quarterback's shoulders turn and breaks out the flat for a big knockdown.
Durant. The flat ball down, and Virginia has it.
Word on the field is a completion and a fumble recovered by Virginia. 1st and 10, Virginia.
Bryce Hall up in the booth. He loves it. Noah Taylor was running off the field excited. Dave Cutcliffe can't believe it. Let's look and see right here. The ball's caught. That's a football move right there, tucking it away. And Noah Taylor knocks it right out. I think there's enough time for that football move right here. Put the ball away, try to throw the stiff arm out. That's going to be a catch, fumble. Great job by Alonzo Jr.
A completion and a fumble recovered by Virginia is under further review.
Well, review the play. Mandy Alonso fell on it, and what looked like maybe something positive for Duke heading into the half may end up being more points against them for Virginia, because now the Cavaliers have the ball in Duke territory.
Yeah, and we want to analyze this from a real speed perspective to see if a football move actually happened. So right here, let's look. Yep. So to me, my interpretation of this rule, you have time to protect yourself from a hit. Right there, he turns his body away, he moves the ball into his opposite hand, tries to secure it, and even throws that little elbow out. That's a fumble. I think that this rule has been clarified this offseason in terms of catch, no catch. This, to me, was a catch fumble. And we talked about, okay, let's make these guys who like rushing the passer run out and make some tackles in space. Well, Duke ran that little screen inside to the running back, taking that guy and aiming him directly at the missile of Noah Taylor. But I've been so impressed with Noah Taylor, and he's not a guy who gets all the press. You hear a lot about Jordan Mack and Charles Snowden and Zane Zandier.
The ruling on the field is confirmed.
But Noah Taylor, to me, he has the biggest potential upside as a future NFL guy. He has such good pass rush off the edge, uses his hands really well, and he's young, only a sophomore. It's his first real year playing. The sky's the limit for this young man.
Another opportunity now for Bryce Perkins to really put a hurting on Duke before we go into the half. He goes up top to Reed. Just too high. Blackwell and Carter converging on Reed, and looks like Blackwell is still down on the turf. Josh Blackwell, you see there, the sophomore from Buford, Georgia. He and Carter collided trying to defend Reed on the play.
That was one where he collided with his own man as they both went up for that ball. Really was thrown into double coverage. Joe Reed looked like he was actually a little bit slow out of his break on that. He's kind of just walking back there to jump up, and right there, yeah, it's kind of where he falls down on his side. Sometimes that signifies if a wind knocked out of you, hopefully that's all it is.
Blackwell gets a nice ovation from the crowd here at Scott Stadium as he walks off under his own power. Staff checking on Carter to make sure he's all right too after that collision. Final 51 seconds here of the first half. Virginia up 17 in what is a critical game in this ACC Coastal Division. Pitt won at Syracuse. They have one loss. Winner of this game still has one loss in conference.
Yeah, this game is so big. And it would be so big for this UVA team if they can punch this ball in the end zone. Or, you know, at this point, 3 would be okay, but getting points off that turnover would be huge.
Perkins has Reed just beyond his outstretched hands.
How about this offensive line for UVA? They haven't gotten a lot going in the run game from running backs, but when we talked to Bronco Mendenhall, he said, my O-line is the governor of my offense. They will slow us down or they will let us fly. And right there, they did a great job of protecting Bryce Perkins. He just missed on the throw.
3rd and 10 for Virginia. Big play for Duke.
Off coverage.
Duke about to take a get off the field here without giving up any points, and they might. Now Perkins escapes the rush initially, but has to throw it away.
And I just gave some credit to the offensive line, but they don't have an answer for Victor Dimukeji right now. He just got around the edge again to force Bryce Perkins to roll out. And we talk about defense. How well do you handle a sudden change situation? Well, Duke's defense stood up really well there, now forcing UVA to punt.
3 and out with their backs against the wall.
That's big, and that shows what this defense can do to keep their team alive. And you know, Duke scores in bunches, and sometimes that has to do with the defense holding the players and getting some field position.
Ash Griffin. End over end. Just going to die right at the 14-yard line, and that's where Virginia will touch up. Duke will take over. 30 seconds left to go here in this first half.
Well, Virginia's going to go into halftime feeling very good about what they've been able to do defensively. They still, I don't think are satisfied on the offensive side of the ball. They need to establish a run game, not only just for this battle here against Duke, but along the way, they need to get yards rushing for someone else besides number 3. They can't have their quarterback do it all the time.
Harris will give to Jackson. He'll get a yard. He tries that left side. Yeah, Virginia last 2 games in their losses, 78 rushing yards combined, just 42 in the first half here today, even though they're up 17.
Yeah, 78 rushing yards combined in 2 games.
Yeah.
That's
13 sacks doesn't help that number.
No, you're right. It does not help that, but they only had 23 yards from a running back last week on the ground, and that's not good enough. And Duke is going to have to figure out what they need to do on offense to get a spark, because a lot of points down against a really good defense.
Stats be damned for Virginia. They're up 17 at the break. To your point, Duke and Coach Cutcliffe, they're going to have to go to work offensively. Just 3 first downs in that first half for this Duke offense and 73 total yards. Moments away from the second half here in Scott Stadium, Charlottesville, Virginia. Chris Cotter, Mark Herzlich, Kelsey Riggs on the call. 17-0 Virginia with the lead over Duke. Blue Devils with just 3 first downs in that entire first half, 73 yards of total offense. The good news is they'll get the ball to start the second half. The bad news is this Virginia the defense is going to be on the other side, and they have been dominant. Blue Devils will start from their own 25. Kelsey Riggs down on the field. Kels?
Yeah, I just caught up with Coach Cutcliffe, and I asked him about the scoreless first half. He says you cannot play offense if you don't block. He said their interior blocking, their exterior blocking, very poor in the first half. He says they need to clean that up. They also can't turn the ball over. He said the main thing he asked his team at the half is, are you going to fight? That's what he's looking for. Will they fight? Will they fight to be on the field? And will they fight to try and get back in this game?
Nice, Kels. 2 turnovers for the Blue Devils as well in that first half. They put the ball on the carpet here, and they turn it right over. Charles Stone was right on the spot when Deion Jackson put the ball down, and Virginia gets a big break to start the second half.
Wow, and when we watch this play, huge mistake on the very first one in the exchange between Quentin Harris and Deion Jackson right here. Quentin Harris doesn't pull the ball. He doesn't give it. Deion Jackson is waiting for that decisive play. And as the running back, you just have to clamp down. And if your quarterback pulls it, then he pulls it. But really loose, bad communication, but huge play. This UVA defense forcing another turnover on the very first play of the second half.
Perkins tries to strike initially to Reed. Jeremiah Lewis there battling with him in the end zone.
Yeah, I like that, taking a shot early, stretch the defense out a little bit, come back in. But this UVA defense, they've been so impressive this first half and then the first play of the second half, but they've been good in a lot of areas this year. Getting turnovers has not been one of them. Only 5 turnovers forced coming in this game. They already have 3 that they got so far today.
Talapapa bouncing off defenders as he tries to stretch, gets it to the 15. It'll bring up 3rd down and 4. Time now for Food Lions. Food for thought. Virginia had problems last week inside the red zone. Today, they're much more efficient.
Yeah, obviously the first one was that turnover that Bryce Perkins threw as he was scrambling, but 2 touchdowns to follow that, both on the ground by Bryce Perkins. And this Duke defense has only allowed 5 rushing touchdowns all year. They're second in the ACC, but 2 so far, and they've both been in the hands of big number 3 Bryce Perkins for UVA.
Blakelock inside of 5. Virginia gets off. Here comes the pressure. Perkins trying to find Dubois. Defended nicely on the play by the Duke Blue Devils. That was Michael Carter fighting with the bigger Dubois to knock the pass away.
Yeah, and watch the hand fight right here. Dubois does a little pushing of the right hand, and we got a little bit of here and there.
A lot of here and there.
A little bit
Both
of here
sides.
and there, a lot of here and there. I'm a defender by nature, so sometimes
You think that was
get away
okay?
with more. But there, yeah, I did see a jersey grab. Well, I was right in calling for that holding.
33-yard attempt by Brian Delaney. Spot on once again. Virginia takes the turnover, converts it into 3 points. They extend their lead. Back in Charlottesville, Virginia up 20-0, and it could be a lot worse other than Duke's defense bowling up when the offense is giving the ball back to Virginia.
Yeah, Virginia's forcing a ton of turnovers. We see only 6 points off those turnovers. So that sudden change defense by Duke, and Ben Albert has got his guys going. They are the only reason why Duke is still in this game. Duke needs to desperately get something going on their offensive side.
Well, Brian Delaney kicks it off to Philyaw Johnson. He'll have an opportunity on this return straight up the middle. Dropped at the 27-yard line, and that's where Duke will take over. The turnovers have been very costly for the Blue Devils, but Virginia hasn't made them pay dearly for them.
No, they haven't. And this one right here is just a poor throw, but a really good play, some poor ball security, and then again, poor ball security on the fumbled exchange. Virginia's being very opportunistic, and sometimes turnovers come to you and you drop them, or you don't recover the fumbles. Virginia's done a good job of pouncing on the ones that they can. Really, it's on the focus of Duke right now.
Deion Jackson, after fumbling on the last possession, getting the carry here, picking up 5 on first down. Let's not forget, too, on Virginia's first offensive possession of the day, they marched down the field. Duke picked them off in the end zone. So that defense also preventing points from going on the board on that drive. Jackson again. Runs into a solid wall of defenders. Mandy Alonso among them.
Yeah, Jordan Mack just came right downhill and filled his gap. Watch him able to keep his outside arm free. Right here, number 4, he's going to press down in his gap right as it opens, and he gets down, gets that inside arm free, and makes the big tackle for loss.
3rd and 5.
Bringing pressure right up the middle.
Harris quick. Got it to his tight end, Noah Gray, but Chris Moore was right there to bring him down and force a 4th down situation.
Chris Moore's a guy that Nick Howell, defensive coordinator, loves. He calls him Chris Army Knife because he can do a little bit of everything. And you saw right there, UVA, true to their nature, brings pressure right up the middle, forcing a quick pass, but Chris Moore is all over it for a stop, and once again, Duke stalled out.
All their passes have been really quick, short passes. They haven't been able to go downfield at all.
Yeah, it's because Virginia's so good at getting in the backfield. Duke talks about sacks. When we talked to David Cutcliffe, 3 bad things can happen when you get a sack. Well, 3 bad things do happen. You lose it down, you lose yards, and sometimes you lose the football. So he doesn't want to take sacks, and the ball's going to come out fast.
Coming up next, week 8 of the college football season rolls along. It's Florida State visiting Wake Forest, our ACC Network primetime matchup presented by Geico. It's also available on the ESPN app. As we've seen, as this ACC season rolls along, anything and everything can happen. Every single week we have surprises, and Wake Forest got off to such a great start that they allowed about 1,000 points to Louisville.
Oh, man.
Like, what happened?
Yeah,
what could happen tonight? You never know. You got to watch.
You never know. And Louisville had a new quarterback in Conley and had a hot hand. And, I mean, sometimes you just have a day. Louisville had a wake-up call against Clemson earlier today. Different animal.
It wasn't their day. It was Clemson's day. Kalapapa bouncing it. Give him 4. I know you'd like to see Virginia try and get that running game other than Bryce Perkins working, wouldn't you?
Yeah, no, I really do. And I think that they have some quality running backs. They do not have a bell cow, a guy that they want to give the ball 30 times a game. However, they need to do it running back by committee, and they have a bunch of able guys led by Talapapa. And if they can get some chunks on the ground, it's going to open up so much more downfield for the passing game of Bryce Perkins.
And Jamari Peacock in the backfield now, and he's more of a blocking back. Perkins fakes the carry himself and gets it out to Reed. He's close to a 1st down. He'll get it.
The play was designed that way. That's really the second option for Bryce Perkins. It's not a pull read to the running back. The running back's just going to lead block for him. And if he doesn't see the defense spread out to cover those stacked receivers on the outside, he's going to flip it out there to his wide receiver.
And let Reed do something with it. Yeah.
Exactly. He can break enough tackles. You saw that on the kick return. Just get him the ball, let him do some work.
Now Perkins rolling out. Just throws this one away. Looking for Assis Dubois. Virginia led 17-0 at the half. First play of the second half. Duke put the ball on the carpet. Virginia recovered. They got a field goal. Now they got the football back.
The lineup in that empty set. No running back in the game. Sometimes they use Joe Reed as running back in these situations.
Perkins fakes the run. Now he's going to take off and run with it. He's got a lot of room. Tracked down from behind by Victor Dimukeji. He's having a good game tonight for that Duke defense. Forcing a third down here. Kelsey, what do you got for us?
Well, guys, right now Duke playing without their cornerback, Josh Blackwell. You saw him go down in the first half. He actually went into the locker room after that in the first half and has not come back out. It is, I'm told, unlikely to return at this point. He is still in the locker room.
All right, thanks, Kelsey. That's a tough break for Blackwell and for this Duke defense. They need to stop here on third down near midfield. Perkins has time. Dubois wide open. Down to the 31. That's 21 yards on that pickup before Jeremiah Lewis, who's filling in for Josh Blackwell at that cornerback spot, makes the stop.
And on the left side of your screen, watch right behind linebacker number 42. He's able to find that little window. And sometimes when you're in zone coverage, you tend to stare at the quarterback and drift. And watch 42 right here, drifts outside. Needs to stay right along that hash. That's where the post's going to come. Great throw and catch by Perkins and Assis Dubois.
Perkins under center. Little razzle-dazzle here. That's Tavares Kelly. Speedster gets inside the 15. First time we've mentioned Kelly's name today, and he pays dividends for the Cavaliers.
When you see an odd formation as the defense, no running back behind the quarterback, you know something's up, you just don't know what that play is going to be. And they ran this little reverse, and you see the lead blocker out in front, number 3, Bryce Perkins. He's ready to block right there. Oh, it doesn't do it.
Just get in the way, right?
He's not going to be a fullback anytime soon, but this guy did not make the tackle.
Just got in the way, allowed Kelly to get downfield. The junior offense now is hitting on all cylinders. Kelly stays in the game, split at the top of your screen. Perkins keeps it, avoids the initial tackle. Inside the 5. Down to the 2. Dimukeji with the tackle. This Duke defense has been on the field all afternoon long. They look like it.
Yeah, they are. And watch right here, this Reed play. Comes back, good pull Reed, but that little stutter step gets Kobe Quantz on the outside, and you don't want to let the vertical seams come right there. That little stutter step and just get vertical. And you see Joe Reed, the wide receiver, already in full blocking mode downfield.
Here you see the red zone today for Virginia. Point of emphasis all week long in practice.
Another odd backfield set, old school near.
Talapapa banging his way to the end zone, touchdown.
We talked Duke only gave up 5 rushing touchdowns coming into today. That's 3 so far, and this one was the first time not by Bryce Perkins, but Talapapa lines up in one of those old school sets you used to see in 1950s, 1940s football with the flat backfield, and they just handed to that fullback position with the lead blocker for the touchdown.
Brandon Hill, 32, the injured player for Duke.
8 plays, 70 yards, just over 4 minutes on that drive for Virginia. And just what that man didn't need. As Coach Cutcliffe now really back to the drawing board with his club down 26, and Delaney's about ready to make it 27 if he can convert here. And the junior from Chantilly, Virginia, does just that. 27-0. Virginia with the lead in front of the delighted home folks here at Scott Stadium. Talapapa says to his why Virginia, the Cavaliers, will win the Coastal Division. And they're looking pretty prophetic right now with this 27-0 lead over a team coming into this game with Duke, who felt like they had designs on getting to that ACC championship game. It isn't looking so good right now for Coach Cutcliffe there on the right. And you could see the FBI chance to win the division with a win today. Obviously enhanced greatly and really damaged greatly with a loss.
Yeah, you look at where Duke's sitting right now. Obviously, they're down 27 points. If they let UVA take this one from them, only a 3.6% chance to win that Coastal. Duke's got to find a way to put together a string of plays and then obviously touchdowns.
Harris trying to go up top and overthrows his man. Looking for Scott Bracey. No chance on that play. Coach Cutcliffe talked a lot about getting the ball out quickly, but he said you could still do a lot of fades and timing patterns downfield by just getting the ball out quickly, but giving your receiver an opportunity to run under it. And right now, he has no time. Harris has no time to throw the football. Flags down on the play really late.
Sideline warning, Virginia, 3rd down.
And right here, watch Zane come in and then right off the edge, left wide open, unblocked. That's a miscount by this Duke offensive line. Virginia just forced that throw to come out too soon. Duke's trying to stay in the pocket. Just getting pressure.
Virginia brings pressure here, and Harris is able to get rid of it. But that's going to be shy of the 1st down marker. Now his running back, Mateo Durant, out of the backfield. Again, 6-7 yards on 3rd down, and it's going to lead to a punt.
They thought about it for a second, whether they were going to go for it right around the same area of the field they went for it last time on 4th down, and that was 4th and 1 they didn't get.
4th 3 and out of the game forced by this Virginia defense. They have been outstanding all night long. No snap. Picked up by Austin Parker. He's going to have to run for his life. He's got the 1st down.
Wow. How about that? I had an old special teams coach that said, do not slow down when the ball hits the ground. Right there, looks like UVA might have slowed down, and Austin Parker did a good job of recognizing the fact that if he tried to kick that, it had been blocked. He just picked it up and ran.
Why are you trying to throw shade on Austin Parker like that? Maybe they didn't slow down. Maybe he's just that fast.
Oh, well, no shade thrown at all, because guess what? He got there. And if there's a spark that you need, sometimes it has to come from your punter.
You're exactly right. This Duke team tried to find a spark anywhere and everywhere today, and maybe they didn't get it from the punt team. Harris, now he's got room to run. Slides after a good pickup on 1st down. Give him 6.
See, he knew what he was doing. He's a psychology major, as you saw. Punter, so he said, hey, we need to get my team motivated. I'm going to make a play on the ground.
I'm going to fumble it when I first get the snap just so I can make a play. Durant, met, dropped. Matt Gom was right there as soon as he got the handoff.
Matt Gom's a guy who's a real physical player. His father played football at Oklahoma State out of Dallas, and he's the backup for Noah Taylor, but a lot of times they get rushes from anywhere and anyone they put on this field.
3rd and 5, incomplete. Devontae Cross was right there, checking Jake Bobo, and another 4th down situation for Duke. So Austin Parker's conversion on that punt that went awry looks like it may go by the wayside here for the Duke Blue Devils.
Well, it's interesting what Virginia's doing on defense right now. They're playing their corners and safeties man-to-man right over the sticks or the yard of the game. They're breaking downhill on every single pass, and there's just not enough time for routes to develop farther down the field. Not enough time for these routes to develop down the field because of the pressure up the middle, and they're just breaking downhill and everything and stopping it short of the first down.
Cutcliffe and Harris discussing things, trying to figure out some way to get a drive sustained against this Virginia team. He's going to take it again, and he's going to pick up the first down again.
I told you.
Austin Parker is the biggest weapon this Duke team has today.
I told you. Put the ball in the hands of your playmaking punter. Looks like we have an injury, though.
We have a Duke player down right at the point of attack. We'll check on the player when we come back.
Going deep with this one. 43 yards. He finds De'Ami Brown, and most importantly, this is going to set up his 18th touchdown pass, the most ever by a UNC freshman. 24-21 UNC leads.
Thanks, Jack. You guys got a wild one down there. Here hasn't been wild until the last couple of plays. Duke in Virginia territory for the first time today, and we're under 6 minutes in this third quarter, and here's why. Because their punter, who is the second leading rusher in the game for him, Austin Parker, just made a couple of plays. That was the first one. And then Virginia stuffed him on fourth down, and he ran again. This one was on purpose. I don't think the first one was on purpose. The second one was clearly on purpose.
Yeah, and a broken play to start, but Dave Cutcliffe said, hey, maybe we got something going here. Keep the ball in your punter's hands with that first down. I played with a couple punters, one namely Steve Weatherford with the New York Giants. He loved that play. He thought he could outrun anybody. So right there, Andrew Parker doing just the same.
They were able to pick up another first down on this drive, too. They're getting going.
Guys, I'm standing over here on the Duke sidelines by Parker, and I'm telling you what, this is the first time I've seen some smiles over here in a long time. These guys excited about what he was able to do. He came over to the sidelines joking, looked at his teammates and said, they can't stop it. Obviously, needed to lighten the mood a little bit, but we'll see what this offense can get going after Parker came out with pretty impressive play there.
Yeah, thanks, Kels. It was about as much offense as we've seen from this Duke team today.
See that specialist squad over there all reveling in their victory on that last point, but this offense needs to get going if that pass is not clean.
Going up top.
Got him.
By Gracie.
Did he hold on?
He did.
He
Touchdown. And that just silenced the crowd here at Scott Stadium. Just like that, two punts that were converted for first downs. Quentin Harris locks up with Scott Bracey for the score. And yeah, that deserves an ovation from Coach Cutcliffe.
And the crowd did go completely silent. There's a little tiny fraction of Duke fans that were cheering, but they're so far away from me. But look at that play. Really good ball by Quentin Harris, and you never know where your spark is going to come from. Momentum is a ball that just keeps on rolling, and they fed off of their punter and their special teams to get them fired up. Big pass by Quentin Harris to put them on the board.
A.J. Reed with the point after try. Quentin Harris, 36 yards to Scott Bracey, and just like that, Duke on the board. 7-7, but obviously something to smile about and to build on for Duke. There's Joe Reed. You talk about an all-purpose type of receiver. Not just catching the ball, but as a kick return man, over 2,700 kick return yards. One of the best in the history of this school. And he'll get an opportunity here to return A.J. Reed's kick. Reed takes that his own 5. Gets outside. Has a blocker in front of him. Cuts it inside. He'll score. 95 yards on the return for the brilliant Joe Reed. That's his second touchdown on a kick return this year.
Well, if you want one way to answer big special teams play, a kick return for a touchdown works mighty fine. Huge play by Joe Reed.
Delaney buries the point after try, and we mentioned how silent this stadium grew when Duke scored that touchdown. Reed lights him back up again.
And Reed sets the ball up the middle, does a great job of getting the Duke defenders to stay inside. A little shake, and then does the rest himself and outruns. And look at a blocker up front. And look at how many orange jerseys you can see in the screen. This Virginia team works, and that special teams, they're not a lot of guys that you know their names or hear them all the time, but they are working hard to get Joe Reed in that end zone.
5th in his great career here in Virginia.
9th most all time. And at all time, that's pretty darn good.
You guys are talking a little bit about Joe Reed and some of his numbers. Let me tell you what number means the most to him. It's the number 2 that he's wearing on his jersey. Here at Virginia, you have to earn your jersey. So his freshman year, he had another number, and just a few days before his first game here with Virginia, he got the call. One of his best friends from back home, Colton Osborne, had just been killed in an ATV accident. He was just 18 years old. He worked all year long hard so that when it came time that he could pick a number next year, he would be able to get the number 2 because that was his friend Colton's number back when they played together since they were 10 years old in high school. Definitely a special number for Joe Reed. He says he thinks about him every time he steps out on the field. You can see his Twitter page right now. It's his pinned tweet. His friend Colton was supposed to be at that first game. It was just a few days before the first game where he was killed. He says he thinks about his friend every day. And before every kickoff return, it's discreet. You might not notice it. He points up and he says, "This one's for you," and thanks his friend for all the support all the years that they played together.
Yeah, it's a great story right there, Kels. Appreciate that. And you have to earn your numbers here at Virginia. And so, you know, the harder you work in the offseason, the harder you work during the week preparing for games and whatnot, that enables you to get the better chance to get the numbers you want. So he obviously had to work his butt off to get number 2, and he's done just that. And he's had a brilliant career here at Virginia. Yeah, and that's behind Bronco Mendenhall's whole philosophy of coaching. He said when he got here, he just didn't see a lot of purpose on his players' faces, and he has this mantra: it's earned, not given. You got to earn everything. We talked about earning your number, but they had to earn just the ability to practice. You got to do warm-ups well. And if you do warm-ups perfect, then you can run and lift. If you run and lift perfectly, then you can practice. And it was his first spring practice, he only had 30 players participating. The rest were all in the weight room. And then eventually they earned their way onto the field. And Joe Reed is an example of a guy doing that well. And that's something Virginia's done really well today. Forcing turnovers. Eli Handback falling on this one. Cavs back on offense.
Going on the field with the fumble recovered by Virginia. 1st and 10.
And watch Jordan Mack come off this edge. You've got 2 coming off this edge. And one loops inside and wide open Jordan Mack. And it was the defensive back coverage that made Quentin Harris pull the ball back in and reload. And that gave Jordan Mack enough time to get around that edge. Huge play, big turnover. Again, this defense is making Duke earn everything this game.
Perkins wants to go up top. Looks for Reed, just overshoots him.
4 turnovers today for this Virginia defense. We mentioned they only had 5 coming into this game. They had 12 turnovers that they gave over and on. So they were a -7 in the turnover differential. And it's even surprising that they were able to get as many wins as they are with that. But they flipped the script. They focused this week defensively. Let's get some turnovers. Offensively, let's get the ball in the end zone. When we're in the red zone, they've done both of those things today.
Perkins tries to run, now bounces it. Gonna throw. Dubois with another great catch, but he may have been out of bounds. He was.
Perkins faster.
Everything thrown to him. Now he says he might have been in bounds, but the official was right there on it.
We'll take another look here. See if he's able to tiptoe.
I think just that toe just left the turf before the ball got into his hands. Great effort, though. Second time right there in that very same spot. We've seen him make a great catch. 3rd down and 10 for Virginia. Perkins going up top. Great effort. Receiver couldn't come down with it, but Jeremiah Lewis may have interfered on the play. Looked like Dijon Brissett out there.
Defense number 39. 15-yard penalty, automatic, 1st down.
Yeah, and Jeremiah Lewis at the end of this play, he reaches back. It looks like he might have grabbed that left arm and pulled down to restrict the catch. Yeah, you see right there, he uses his right arm to kind of cusp the left arm of the receiver. Good call. Sometimes when you turn your head back, you can disguise that from the ref, but good call by the refs there.
1st and goal, Virginia, number 6.
Give to Talapapa. He's met in the backfield. Chris Rumpf was there.
Talapapa is not one of those guys that we said, he's not a bell cow, but he really keeps his legs moving. He's tough to bring down with one guy, and sure, you're not going to knock him back, even if you do. He keeps on driving forward. And I'm really impressed with not only the way he's able to run the ball, but block as well. And that old school look again, let's see if they hand it to that fullback.
Perkins is going to look to throw. Has a receiver. But while Billy Kemp made the catch, Leonard Johnson was right there to bring him down inside the 5.
Yeah, Bryce Perkins almost tripped up on his fullback PK Kier. And you know, that little stumble just threw the timing off. Watch right here, he kind of he gets stepped on by his center, Chris Glazer. And that's what threw off the timing and just lobbed it.
Credit Leonard Johnson getting out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
On his horse. Force the 3rd down and goal here. Perkins keeps it. There's a big blocker in front of him. Can he get to the edge? He does. It's all number 3 today, Mark.
Yeah, he's done so good at being able to get the ball where he needs to put it, making good decisions. And watch right here, the defense comes in, and right here, man-to-man on this tight end, watch him fold inside. That's by play design. He needs to stay outside. Ends up peeking inside last minute. Edge is wide open. Talapapa can't even find who to block. Touchdown, field goal, good.
Don't forget, folks, coming up next, Florida State at Wake Forest. It's our ACC Network primetime matchup presented by Geico. It's also available on the ESPN app. So you're going to want to check that out as things in this conference start to tighten up a little bit. 2:13 left to go in the 3rd quarter here. Virginia in control. And we showed you what the FPI numbers say. And when you look at Virginia's remaining schedule, I mean, they got to go back out on the road. They had 2 road games coming into this one. Now they go to Louisville, then UNC, before Georgia Tech, who beat Miami earlier today, comes here and they round out the year against Virginia Tech in that rivalry that they haven't won in 15 years, that they're looking to break that streak, and they'll have an opportunity to do that right here on this field.
Yeah, and they were so close last year. What an unbelievable game that was. Virginia Tech ended up squeaking that one out, and Virginia Tech they've had some struggles this year as well. And
they're in a dogfight right now against North Carolina down in Blacksburg. Let's see how the Coastal shapes up. This is up to the minute. Let's not forget Pittsburgh just beat Syracuse. So Pitt improved to 2-1 in conference, 5-2 overall. There's Duke and Virginia. We mentioned North Carolina and Virginia Tech right now, just a couple hours southwest of here down in Blacksburg in a battle. Georgia Tech got the win in Miami. You just can't take any team for granted in this conference.
How big would it be for Virginia if they get the win here and then Virginia Tech could knock off UNC? He's sitting nicely.
Nowhere to go. Hand back again in the backfield brings him down for a big loss.
Interesting. You're seeing the frustration in terms of the play calling by Duke. They've tried a bunch of different things, and nothing has seemed to work at all for them. And that's a real credit to this Virginia defense, being very multiple, getting lots of plays in the backfield.
Durant, hard, but bounces off that tackle. Jordan Mack was right there in the hole again.
Yeah, Jordan Mack, number 4. Watch him. He's coming over on a blitz. He reads out of that blitz and does such a good job of exploding from a standstill. He uses his feet, explodes into that tackle, knocks the runner back.
3rd and 12. Harris will look to throw. Gets it to a receiver, complete for the first down. That was Aaron Young making his first catch of the day, and that's a conversion of 15 yards on 3rd and 12.
So good by Quentin Harris. He saw the pressure coming. He didn't panic, stepped up and found his receiver for that first down.
Final minute of this 3rd quarter. Dominated by Virginia. Harris trying to go deep to Young. Great catch. No, he couldn't come down with it. Wow, hand fighting the entire way with Devontae Cross, and he almost made a spectacular catch.
It almost was an unbelievable catch. This Duke offensive line held up long enough to even let that play develop downfield. You want to come down with that. Obviously, it's a hard catch, but at this point in the game, you need to make that.
Nowhere to go. Handbeck was there. Zandier was in on it. With Zandier, even his neck roll is just like about to rip off the back.
Yeah,
that's old school right there.
I know, he's wearing some of that eye black on his face. You know, I like that. He got the cast on, reminiscent of old school Mark Hertzlick out there, but he might have a little more athleticism than me.
3rd and long. Intercepted. Joey Punt. And he brought down at the 40-yard line.
Joey Blunt wanted to get involved in this party. I don't know, looks like he's getting handcuffed taken off there, but they definitely are not handcuffing this Virginia defense as they're taking a lot away. Oh, maybe he was stealing. Maybe he's getting arrested for stealing because he stole that ball right out of the air.
There's no foul for illegal block below the waist. 1st and 10, Virginia.
Officials pick up the flag.
Oh, there he is. Yep. Young man. That's Grand Theft football right there.
I mean, it's almost not even, that was so easy. That wasn't even stealing. That was like possession of stolen goods. Maybe.
Right, yeah.
I mean, that ball just landed in his bread basket. All he had to do was just stand there. 5 turnovers forced by this Virginia defense today. Should be the final play of the 3rd quarter. Papa breaks free. Inside the 20, down inside the 10. Now they're getting that running game going. Joey Blunt with the 5th turnover forced by this Virginia defense today. They head to the 4th quarter up big. Haven't looked back, up 41-7 as we start the 4th. The big reason has been their defense. Just forced turnover number 5, and it put Bryce Perkins and company in shape at the 9-yard line of the Duke Blue Devils. You can see they only forced 5 turnovers all season coming into this game. That's 6 games worth. They picked up 5 today, and that's been the big story. Papa. That's it back inside the 5. He'll score.
Well, Bronco Mendenhall talked about his offensive line controlling this game and what the offense is able to do. Watch them cover up all the defenders and give a lane for Talapapa to get through to the end zone, and he just does it the rest. Breaks a couple tackles and uses his effort and will to get in the end zone. Really interesting guy, interesting story. He's of the Latter-day Saint, went on a mission, 2-year mission in Nicaragua from Hawaii, and came back and returned to this Bronco Mendenhall team to be their leading rusher this season in this game.
Talapapa now 7 touchdowns on the year on the ground, and a couple today. Fans here at Scott Stadium have enjoyed a gorgeous fall afternoon, and they've seen their Cavaliers put one on Duke.
Yeah, and it's been this defense for UVA is obviously, we saw the turnovers, we've seen the big plays, but it's all the little plays in between. They have not let Duke get going at all. Absolutely no offense. Only, I think, one time that Duke has even crossed the 50-yard line. And that's a true testament to Nick Howell. You can go one of two ways when you lose your leader, your emotional leader, your defensive leader, probably the best player on your team in Bryce Hall. You can either tank and feel sorry for yourself, or you can take Bryce Hall's example and find purpose in the pain. And it looks like UVA's defense has done just that. They are playing for their number 34, Bryce Hall.
Justin Dunkel kicking off. He actually kicked the PAT as well, so Virginia getting a couple of kickers involved.
And this is how they're doing it. Watch them bring this pressure up the middle, and watch the defensive backs playing off. They are going to break downhill on the pass that has to come out quick. And that one, they forced the pass to go inside, and then again, we're getting the same play. We have a little drop off here, but look at this line of defenders. They are going to make the ball be completed in front of them so they can break downhill and stop the first down gains.
Chris Petrenic now quarterback for Duke. Coach Cutcliffe, Zach Roper and company, they want to get some playing time for some of their players now. Look to the future. Petrenic, a sophomore out of Algonquin, Illinois.
At this point, too, the game is out of reach, and there's been, the Virginia defense has had so much firepower that I think it's preservation mode for Quentin Harris. This season's not over for Duke with a loss here, but they need to have their quarterback healthy in order to even give a run going forward.
Deion Jackson pushes the pile, maybe gets a yard. 3rd and short now for Duke. There's Quentin Harris, team captain. Senior bided his time behind Daniel Jones. Now with an opportunity to lead this Duke team all his own. 3rd and 5. Jackson will carry it. He'll pick up 3. He'll be shy of the first down.
In our meetings this week with both organizations, it was very apparent that there is one purpose in the way they want their organizations, both of them, to run, and it's developing a young man first. We can develop on the football field as a team, but we need to first worry about creating young men that can be successful in society after they're done with their college career, and they're a bunch of very impressive young men on both of these teams.
Deion Jackson with an impressive effort, still on his feet. He'll pick up the first down and a lot more, getting it out to the 44.
Jackson on the carry.
There's something really special when you can align opportunities for young people with ability. And when we talked with Coach Mendenhall, he harped on the fact that he wants players at Virginia that belong at Virginia first, regardless of whether they were playing football or not. And then the next criteria for recruiting is to have good football players. But he thinks that if you come to a place that you fit in, that you can bring the culture with you, that you can fit in with everybody else, then also the support that's built around you increases. You've seen that in the type of family culture that he's created in his Wahoos, and really interesting when we talked to David Cutcliffe, he had a lot of the same things to say.
Yeah, I think you touched on it, Mark. They both kind of have a similar mentality, and it was really interesting, their past. These are two coaches that have known each other for quite some time. They've sat in head coaches meetings side by side for a long time. Bronco Mendenhall told us a funny story that he actually came down to Duke and paid a visit there before he got the job at Virginia, and he jokes and says he swears he did not know that he was coming to coach at Virginia when that happened. But those guys shared a lot of good stories with us, and I think it's the players and the people that they're recruiting that means so much. Coach Cutcliffe said it's 100% why you coach, to get into a position to help these guys develop and change their life. And he says it gets in your heart, and that's why you stay. And he has definitely stayed and been a part of this Duke program for a long time.
Jake Marweedy on the reception there, 4th down. Duke is going to keep the offense on the field, see if they can convert again. Trent will roll. Here comes Snow. Now he gets rid of the football. Incomplete. Brenton Nelson was covering on the play, and Virginia will take over. 48-7 our score here. 11:34 left to go in this game. Virginia with the ball when we come back. Alabama, Oklahoma. Obviously, Alabama and LSU will sort something out there a little bit later on. And the teams at the top, the team just keeps rising. Flag down on this play is Lamont Atkins carry the ball for the Wahoos. Backup quarterback Lindell Stone, number 36 in the game. That's perfect, isn't it?
It is. You talk about earning your number. Sometimes it's hard as a backup quarterback to
He's got a head of hair like you had in college.
Oh my, look at that.
He really does.
Yep, you seen those pictures as you walk the Boston College halls there. There's a reason why I have a mohawk now.
There's no foul for hold on the play. Second down.
The officials pick up the flag, but yeah, Stone's got number 36. It's time to earn one of those single-digit numbers, or a teen number might be down the road.
Yep. Well, yeah, I mean, I think I like his hair. I'm not saying it. I like his hair. Yeah. Right now, I would. Right now, if I could grow,
he's got the opportunity to get a really great mohawk later on.
He does. He does.
And he's got you as a role model.
When mohawk is your best option.
It's a good option because when you can rock a mohawk, very few people can do it like you can do it.
You could do it.
No, I don't have that shape of a head. I've got a terribly shaped head. I got the hair to do it.
Yeah, head shape does play in.
And I think being 6'5" helps too. I think that helps your persona. When you walk into a room, there's a certain presence about you with that mohawk.
Yeah, and it's interesting too. Like, I can dictate the angle at which you see the mohawk because most people are looking up to it. For you, it'd be different.
Okay, let's talk about the game at hand here.
Okay.
Lindell Stone leading Virginia on this drive. The conversation ended just at the right moment.
I didn't know where that was going.
Talapapa carrying it for Virginia. Nice gain of 8 yards. Well, Talapapa's been able to pick up some yards now. He's 65 yards on 10 carries, got a couple of touchdowns on the day. So Virginia just wore down this Duke defense throughout the course of this day. Now they're finally getting their running backs involved in this running game, and Duke has just been on the field all night long.
Yeah, they have. Their time of possession is so much higher. Lots of turnovers. Great field position for UVA all night.
Talapapa again, changing direction at the line of scrimmage. First down after a pickup of 6. Xander Gagnon on the stop for Duke.
Yeah, and coming into this game, I didn't expect to see a blowout. Duke has done such a good job of putting up points offensively that I thought that they were going to have a few answers, but that one series of the wing tee we saw in the first quarter got absolutely dismantled by Virginia's defense, and Duke didn't even try to come back to it, and they became very one-dimensional. And when that one dimension is throwing the ball, Nick Howell's defense can get after it.
Papa again. Pick up a 4. Lemmy Young with the stop. We're going to see a lot of number 21, I have a feeling, for the rest of this drive. Virginia obviously very happy with putting some yards on the ground. A combination of both Talapapa and Perkins, 156 yards on the ground to date.
Yeah, and those were sparked initially by Perkins. And in this situation where you're up by so much, you want to see some light, a spark in your run game. And you look to that offensive line. At this point in the game, you might replace your quarterback, you might replace a couple wide receivers, but your starting offensive line is still going to stay in there. And this gives them a chance to work on their craft. They were tested last few weeks in the run game, did not respond well. They were tested in the red zone. But right now, they're getting game quality reps. They need to open up some holes for the running back to give a sense of promise for next week.
Papa slides and tries to cut. He'll lose about a yard. And it'll bring up 4th down on this drive for Virginia.
Good play by Rocky Shelton, backup middle linebacker for Duke, getting in the backfield.
Bronco Mendenhall will keep his offense on the field as he just works on this clock at 41.
Talk about opportunity. This is an opportunity. Lindell Stone in a pressure situation for him. See if he can convert on this 4th down.
Stone will throw in the end zone, and it's going to be intercepted. Let's see if Jalen Alexander can make something happen. Brings it out to the 19-yard line. So the true freshman from Loganville, Georgia, with the interception. Duke's offense will come back on the field. Something to build on for this Duke defense as they've been battered, especially here in the second half. Got a flag down on the play. Let's check this one out. Right about where Alexander went down.
Interception during the return. Personal foul, face mask, passing team number 87. 15-yard penalty added to the end of the run. 1st down, Duke.
Dontavian Wicks on the tackle. Brought down Jalen Alexander. A little too much on the face mask, so we'll add 15 yards on to the return for this Duke offense.
Yeah, we talked about a pressure situation. We mentioned the starting offensive line was still in there. You hope that they can protect their quarterback. Lindell Stone got the ball hit as it was coming out. Interception for Duke.
Virginia on top 41. Duke with the ball when we come back. This is Virginia, obviously, with this resounding win today here against the Duke Blue Devils. That game down in Blacksburg all knotted up at 31 apiece. About 4.5 minutes left to go in that game in regulation.
And that's another big game in this Coastal. North Carolina has had spurts of just looking phenomenal behind true freshman quarterback Sam Howell and his ability to disperse the ball. Duke's going to have to find themselves within this week because they're going to have a tough one coming up next week.
No question about it. Chris Katrenick, backup quarterback for the Blue Devils in the game, carries it himself. Wasn't able to pick up anything there.
And that's one thing you see in this Coastal Division. You don't see any dominant leader like Clemson is. However, any team can knock off any team any week. And
Miami beat Virginia last week. Virginia got beat by Georgia Tech this week.
Absolutely. And it becomes who is ready to play that game. And every single time you go out there, you got to be ready to strap it up, hit, block, run, tackle. It becomes down to the basics in this Coastal, and whoever does those the best usually gets the win.
Elijah DeVoe now in the game, running back for Duke, number 36. Carries the ball and converts a 3rd down for the Blue Devils. Clock ticking toward 5 minutes remaining in this one. Virginia salted this one away in the 3rd quarter. It took a 17-point lead at halftime and really extended it. Used turnovers to do it. The defense has been remarkable today. DeVoe tests the middle of that Virginia defense. Just gets it back to the line of scrimmage. There's Here's a good look at Charles Snowden. Prez, nickname amongst his teammates.
See on his left, that's Jordan Mack. Talk about earning things. We talk everything's about earning things. Well, they have a scale in their weight room. They give you a shirt when you come in. You come in with a white shirt, and then when you can start lifting better and running better, you get a gray, and then move on to orange and blue and black. And that graduation from the blue level to black level is something that all these UVA players strive for, and it's really interesting. They only have 4 black shirts right now.
Personal foul, hands to the face. Defense number 94. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
They have only 4 black shirt players on this entire team, and Jordan Mack is one of them. And once you complete all the requirements in terms of your broad jump, your high jump, your bench press, your 40, all those different things, then you have to go on like a journey. And you know, it's Bronco Mendenhall's way of having his team take accountability, but it's a lot of times carrying a 40 or 50-pound rucksack across campus. And at the end, then you have to do some sort of physical exercise. And if you can complete that with your teammates watching and not quit, then you earn your black shirt. And talking to few guys who have it, it is something that they cherish maybe more than anything as being a part of this program.
See members of this defense, Devontae Cross there, fill it in for Bryce Hall, who was lost for the season, the senior cornerback on this team last week. He's been watching from the coach's box up here tonight. I just saw him moments ago at halftime. Had ankle surgery earlier this week. Now he gets to rehabbing and working to help. There he is right there, Bryce Hall, helping his teammates throughout the rest of this year and looking forward to next spring's NFL draft.
Just such an unbelievable kid. And so
Nick Howell, boy, he was broke down and emotional. Defensive coordinator Nick Howell, almost a week later, yesterday, talking about it.
Yeah, and you see him on the headsets there. He said to us, he said, I would hire Bryce Hall right now to be our cornerbacks coach. That's how much of a student he is of the game. That's how much respect he commands from his teammates. He's a person that comes through a program every so often and can change the entire culture in a locker room. And he told us that although he's not able to be back on the field, he's going to do everything that he can and everything in his power to guide his team to victory. He did so today. His defense has played lights out. They're number 34.
Right here on the ACC network and on the ESPN app. Wide open receiver for Kotrenik, and he scores. Eli Pankow, the freshman, all he does is score touchdowns. And he scores another one here from Kotrenik.
To Eli Pankow.
Yeah, let's see this. How does he get so wide open? Watch number 30 right at the top of the screen. Little double move by your wide receiver on the inside post. Gets right in, gets Larry to bite for a touchdown.
True freshman from the state of Indiana here at Duke with another touchdown. A.J. Reed with the PAT. Reed sneaks it through. Duke, second touchdown of the day. 48-14. Cavs on top. And call. He's only touched the ball 6 times all year, and he has 4 touchdowns. 6 times in his college career, 7 actually. He added 1.
Pretty good ratio. If he can keep that up, I promise he will be in the Hall of Fame.
Onside kick attempt here, just a little pooch kick. Someone's going to fall on it. Ball's free. And the Blue Devils fall on it. Now that was brilliantly executed by Duke and poorly on the part of Virginia.
Yeah, it was really good placement. You see teams try to do this, they're just not able to really well. And you see Dubois tried to signal for the fair catch, which he can because the ball wasn't kicked into the ground first and then hopped up. He just wasn't able to get in front of it. Really good placement by the kicker there. You got to come up with some way to get the ball back. 2 minutes left. too little, too late, but either way, you're going to make teams practice against that.
Yeah, you got to work on things here. DeVoe with the carry. Gets a couple.
But it's interesting, you know, you might give up a touchdown or a play on defense right now with subs. But for special teams, when your hands team's on the field, that's what you have to do. And Ricky Brumfield, the special teams coordinator for Virginia, he wants his players playing at a high level no matter what the score. It's all hands on deck when you're on the receiving end of an onside kick, and guarantee there's going to be some corrections made on that one.
Final 2 minutes here from Charlottesville. We get a timeout by the Blue Devils.
Timeout, Duke.
And Zach Roper, the offensive coordinator.
30-second timeout.
David Cutcliffe and the rest of that offensive staff. They're going to want to work on some things here in the final 2 minutes. They're not going to waste game reps.
You see, look what's coming up for Duke. You need to bounce back quick because you have a North Carolina team that is going to be towards the top of that Coastal Division, and then you got number 8 in the country, Notre Dame. And then it doesn't get any easier with Syracuse and then at Wake. So, you know, they need to turn this around. They need to figure out how to get their offense going. Sometimes it's those in-game adjustments that you need to work on how can we do something different. We need to find the weakness in the defense. You know, I'm a defensive player, former defensive player, but I know that every defense has something that it has to give up. And Duke needs to work on having to find that mid-game so they can alter their game plan, because what they did today is not going to be good enough.
Elijah DeVoe, the role of the B-back in this offense. Picks up maybe a couple of yards. 3rd down and a long 5 for the Blue Devils.
And if anyone knows how to make adjustments or make corrections or get his team back on track, it's that man David Cutcliffe. He's seen everything there is to see in college football, coached with some of the absolute greats. And when we sit down with him, we talk to him in those little meetings for a few minutes, it seems like you get knowledge. You get knowledge over and over again. We talked to Zach Roper, who's been with him for 18 years, and he said every single day I'm learning something new about how to be a better man or be a better coach.
Final minute from Charlottesville. 4th down for Duke. Pitch play here to Coleman. Can he find his way to the sticks? Won't be able to. And Virginia holds with 45 seconds left. A couple of knees, and this one will be a Virginia victory. You see what Virginia has coming up next on their schedule. The disappointment of losing 2 in a row coming into this game, but now Bronco Mendenhall and his crew can certainly build on this. Going on the road to take on Louisville. Again, 2 road games. I understand this North Carolina-Virginia Tech game is now in overtime, so it does not get easier, but the fact of the matter remains they only have 1 loss in conference play, so now it's all in front of them. It's theirs to, it's theirs to do with it what they can.
Yeah, when you get in this position and you get towards the end of October and into November, you want to be able to control your own destiny. That's what every team plays for, and they're in position right now to do just that. They can win out. They have a winnable schedule. Obviously, Louisville put up a ton of points last week, and then they're going to have to face Wake and Virginia Tech, but this is a team who built a lot of confidence today on the field, started with their defense, and finished a lot of times with that number 3, Bryce Perkins.
See the 2 coaches embracing at midfield. Coach Cutcliffe will be back. He'll have his Blue Devils back. And Mendenhall now, this team is straight in the ship. After a couple of losses on the road, they'll go back out on the road next week. Bryce Perkins, 141 yards through the air. He did have the 1 interception early, but bounced back. 3 touchdowns on the ground and 62 yards to lead this Virginia team to a resounding 48-14 win over Duke here in front of the home folks. We mentioned what Virginia has coming up next: on the road at Louisville, on the road at North Carolina. So road warriors here in the month of October. Chris Stone and that defense played fantastically, and Joe Reed with the return for the score. Kelsey Riggs is down on the field. Kels?